let me teach you how to shuffle. Today, I'm gonna be reading the Game Maker Manual. Give me a second, real quick. Back again. Welcome to the Game Maker Studio 2 Manual, or something like that. I'm gonna go through the entire manual because, let's be honest, no one actually goes through the manual. No one's made videos going through the manual before. And I'm doing Game Maker a favor because in all the 10 years, 12 years that Game Maker has been around, no one in the history of Game Maker has made a video going into full depth of the manual, reading everything out and explaining everything. And I want to read through the manual fully, but there's an issue with that. One, content, you can't make content while you're reading. And two, that's boring. No one likes to read and not get anything out of it. So I'll do you both a favor. Not only will I be reading it, but you will be forced to listen while you listen to me ramble about how Game Maker is a store. Game Maker is a tool designed to empower you. So, things like that. And you'll never want to listen to text to speech because, let's be honest, text to speech is boring and I can make it funny or something. I just pretend I'm interesting, okay? Because AI sucks, and not only will you have to do this, you'll have to copy and paste it into a text editor or a reader. Because, let's be honest, you ain't gonna read this. We're both dumb. I'm the dumber one here, obviously. But, between you and me, I'd rather not have everyone suffer for the 100th time going through this. So, that is my favor to society, is reading through the game manual that no one wants to read through. So not only will you understand what the heck you're doing finally, since a lot of the language is a mess, and they don't really explain a lot of things when it comes to the language, a lot of the commands, a lot of the stuff going through it, and they'll usually just skip a lot of that. For example, if you're trying to do something casual, you may not understand what you're doing. So, for example, a lot of GML is like English, but for whatever reason, it's like if you were to slam together C++ or C#, and to mix it with English, that makes it kind of hard to learn. And there's a lot of algebra in it, and I'm dumb. I don't know that much algebra. I only know the basics, and sometimes that isn't enough to get you through everything. So, not only will this be made by an idiot, but it will be for idiots. I'm not calling you an idiot. I'm calling myself an idiot, because I'm reading this to you. So, if you want to suffer with me, then we're gonna suffer together, let's be honest. So, let's get to it. Anyways, introduction to Game Maker. Game Maker is a tool designed to empower you. Like, seriously. It has a text editor, it has a lot of stuff to it. If you want to use GoDaddy, go for it. But Game Maker Studio has a lot of features that other tools may not have. For example, if you're using Game Maker Studio 2, it comes with a built-in editor, which may not be the case for other editors you are using. For example, you either have to use an online editor or an editor that you may have to download, which may come with software or malware, which could hurt you and delay you making a game, or you could potentially lose all your progress. So that's why you sometimes choose Game Maker. And it's not like I'm saying it's bad to choose a different tool, but if you use Unity and you're kind of a big doofus like me, you're gonna take 10 years to do it. That's a bad pull on me, but I'm an idiot, you're an idiot. We're gonna learn together, is the short of it. And I know this is the intro, because, you gotta You gotta annoy people with the overly long intro, just so you sound smart and big brain. So now I will force you to listen to me. Okay. Introduction to Game Maker. Game Maker is a tool designed to empower you and your team to make, I don't have a team, to make a new and innovative game, as well as prototype ideas in the fastest way and most intuitive way possible across multiple target platforms. It is intended primarily as a tool for making 2D games, although 3D games are perfectly doable. But who would do that, honestly? And it comes with a number of tools and editors to help you realize your dreams and ideas, with the final product being put across multiple platforms from the same initial base resources. I suck at talking. For those who are new to the world of GML or programming, or those who have never been used to any game creation tool before, GameMaker offers an intuitive and easy to use GML, visual language of actions that allow you to start creating your own games very quickly, and using visual scripting. Fun fact, visual scripting sucks. It sometimes works, but if you're making like a very complex system, you may suffer with trying to program in it. So a lot of the time when you see creators on the platform, they don't actually understand the visual part of it, because it's very complex and a pain in whatever you are like making. So just be wary of that whenever you're making a game, because I understand when people are making a game and they're just having fun, then they get to the GML scripting interface and they're just confused. So sometimes this will not be the best option, and you'll have to use the just the normal script. And that's perfectly fine. Do what you need to do. Anyways, if you are more experienced or less visual programmer, then you can... Oh, nice. Cool. Look at this. It's so interesting. Wait, does this even leak anything? No, it doesn't leak anything. You can't leak stuff by pressing that. Okay. If you're more experienced or less visual programmer, then you can use the Professor-D scripting language, GML code to games. Basically, the better option. Everyone uses this. This is better. You'll suffer less. So, for example, there's the function. If you don't know what a function is, it's kind of like the thing that you need to put the stuff in, and it's like a puzzle piece, for example. So when you're coding, there'll be like the thing that makes that certain function work, and then you have to connect it with variables, which is kind of like, you put, again, they're like puzzle pieces, so you put them to each other and they work somehow. Basically, for people who don't understand, connect the pieces, it work. Sometimes you'll get confused, you won't understand how it works, but it's like a puzzle piece, basically. Which is like how visual coding works. It's literally just that. And it makes it easier for people who can't really think in code. And that's perfectly fine. It's just Game Maker Studio's been around for a long time, and visual coding has been around for not that much time. So if you're like coding, almost no one knows how to use visual coding because no one's actually gone through to tell people that. You can combine both and mix GML code functions with visual actions, giving you a great deal of flexibility when it comes to how you write things. This is all laid out in an intuitive fashion with different aspects of your game chaining together in the IDE to give you a unique and visual representation of the GameMaker comes with a number of powerful tools like the image editor for creating your own sprites and the ability to use tile sets. And you can import images that you have made in any external editor, including sprite skeleton animations and what's his name? SWF format vector files. Once you have your images, it is simply a question of assigning them to objects in that object editor, adding some code or GML visual actions, and then placing instances of these objects into a game room or the room editor. So what it's trying to tell you is when you start GML and you're playing around with the editor, so every sprite is a whole bunch of pixels. So for example, when I was talking to one of my siblings, I had to explain to them that like the 32 by 32 is 32 pixels by 32 pixels. So think of it as if you know algebra, this should be easier. So 30x, so 30 pixels up and 30 pixels wide. And after you make your sprite, you can drag it into the room, which is basically where you create like everything. Like you put the sprites in there to create the quote-unquote room. And it's like creating a house in a way. Especially if you've 3D modeled before. If you have 3D modeled, then you should know what you're doing. But for example, this will be confusing for you a little bit, because you're new to this stuff likely. Or maybe you're not new and you're just gonna skip this video, because let's be honest, everyone's gonna do that. Ain't no one gonna be safe from that. For example though, I will give a visual example. For this, so I'm in the middle of creating a room at the very moment, and whenever you're done with a sprite set or whatever you're making, you can go do this and create a room. Excuse my terrible naming habits. I'll never fix a habit. I'm doomed. So what you can do if you want to make a room or just play around with assets is you can create this and find whatever you're looking for. You may be doomed though. I don't know on what you're looking for. And you then will go and do this. What am I looking at? Give me a moment. Let me find this. Oh gosh. Okay. There we go. This is a tile set. And whenever you're going to do a room, you will go back to this. Hi. And what you can do when you're going into a room and building a room, this is basically what a room is. You drag your objects. You can drag objects in to the editor, although it may be a pain. See? So you can drag objects into this place, and it basically serves as how the game works. So when you press play on this room, it will show you what you're working on. Of course, this won't show the specific thing I'm working on. It'll probably show just the outside room I've been working on. But right now I'm working on this tile set, and I'm not done, obviously. It takes a long time to make a room, and you have to design a lot and spend time, something you may not like doing. But you have to work hard to make tile sets, so be wary of that whenever you're making a room, especially if you're on a time limit. So this is a room, and when everything's done loading in the game, it'll pop up. Oh, right now there is an issue. Although I can't show much of this. There will sometimes be errors, and if you have an issue with this, you'll have to go and figure out why you're having an issue with that. So there are errors I have at the moment, and I can't start my room because of that. And that's not really my fault. It's just because I'm working on something and I'm having trouble with it. And you'll have to fix a lot of errors or else you won't be able to start your game. So for example, that might happen and you'll have to fix it. So we're gonna go back to the manual now. I know that's probably gonna be the only visual representation I have, but I also just showed something, so I have to edit that out real quick. And so hopefully that makes some sense, because it doesn't really explain that in the video or whatever you're looking at, because you'll be confused, you won't understand what you're doing, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Anyways, there are also additional tools for creating paths, sequences, and shaders, and a lot more. You'll also find the IDEs also incredibly flexible and be accustomed to your needs. This should be the default IDE setup, not covering something you require using different preferences. That's a lot. This manual will tell you all you need to know about GameMaker and how to create your own games with it. However, please realize that even with a program like GameMaker, designing computer games is not completely effortless. So no, make me a RGB button here. Be aware too. There are many aspects to making a game that they all require equally important. And gameplay, graphics, sounds, user interactions, etc. But the most important aspect of all is patience. While GameMaker is a powerful tool, it cannot do everything for you. For example, instantly creating a text box system. You will have to go and code it yourself, and you will probably be a little confused. For example, they kind of suck at doing game. There are certain parts of GameMaker that can suck. Like, it's kind of universal with all engines. But for example, if you're making an engine and you're playing around and you're like, wait, this kind of sucks. With the text box system, you'll have to spend months working on it unless you know what you're fully doing. That's the aspect of GameMaker Studio 2 that I kind of wish I knew earlier, but I don't regret using GameMaker Studio 2, and I think GameMaker Studio 2 is an amazing tool. Which is true. So start with simple things, and you'll find that not only creating games is great fun, but learning to use GameMaker to do things that are also very rewarding. There's so many spell words. I'm not gonna say that. For more information, examples, tutorials, and links are in the forum. Helpful forums and other resources. Visit the GameMaker website. This is true. The forums will also provide very, very good help if you really need it. For an example, I had trouble in the past with a certain thing and I had to ask the forum, and they provided really good answers. And also, switching sprites is going to be a pain if you have a game where you switch to one zone to another. I had to actually figure that out myself. So there are times where you have to learn how to code something yourself. Especially with music, where it's like touch of a button. That is actually something GameMaker is very good at. But for now, this is the first video in my series. So have a good day and enjoy your afternoon. Bye. Okay. Bye.